CBSE English Class 10, First Flight, Chapter 5, The 100 Dresses, Part 1, written by L. Sor Esther. Introduction. This story has a backdrop of racial discrimination. The chapter takes us through an American school where a Polish immigrant has come to study. This Polish girl is subjected to humiliation and mockery for being different. She reacts to all the humiliation very calmly and builds up a story to counter the others which they find utterly fake. Finally, the quiet Polish immigrant surprises everyone and leaves a mark through her talent. The chapter speaks of a society where the children have not been taught to welcome differences. Instead, they indulge in pranks that tend to affect the victim in ways not understood by the pranksters. It also speaks of the impregnable indifference that such victims develop because they have to survive in the new surroundings at any cost. Theme. The story deals with problems related to immigration. The strange environment presents unknown challenges and different people cope up with these challenges in their own ways. The story is also about the realization of people from the mainstream society that different people are also emotional human beings with great potential. Characters. Wanda Petronsky, a poor Polish immigrant. Peggy, a rich, popular girl in the school. And Maddie, Peggy's friend. Chapter progression and summary. It was Monday. Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat. Nobody noticed. Wanda was a quiet, poor Polish immigrant girl who rarely spoke in the class. She lived at Boggins Heights, which was a poor locality. Wanda's name was considered funny in room number 13. Wanda had no friends, always wore a faded blue dress to school, and was a victim of teasing. Students didn't notice her much, except for outside the school hours to tease and mock her. She did not come on Tuesdays also. On Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie particularly noticed her absence because they were waiting to have fun with her and had got late to school in the bargain. Peggy used to make fun of Wanda by asking how many dresses she had and how many pairs of shoes. Wanda would answer, 100 dresses and 60 pairs of shoes. All girls would laugh at her. Peggy was not really cruel. She wondered why Wanda spoke of her 100 dresses when she obviously had none of them. Maddie felt bad about teasing Wanda because she was also poor. She wished Peggy to stop teasing Wanda but couldn't tell her so. She was afraid that Peggy would start making fun of her also. A few days ago, a drawing and coloring competition had taken place in which girls had drawn dresses and boys had drawn motorboat designs. Next day, the results of the drawing contest were expected to be announced. As the children entered the classroom the next day, they stopped short and gasped at the 100 sketches of beautiful and bright dresses all over the room. Miss Mason announced Wanda as the winner among girls. All the sketches displayed had been drawn by Wanda. The class was astonished. They clapped and whistled for Wanda, who was absent. The blue and the green dresses once spoken of by Wanda were identified by Peggy and Maddie. They were shocked to know about her great talent and admired her dresses silently. Synopsis. The 100 Dresses is a story about a girl who is teased by her classmates because she is different. Wanda Petronsky, a girl who comes from a poor part of the town, Boggins Heights, is the only student in her class with a funny Polish name. She is a Polish immigrant who is poor. She is always quiet and wears the same faded blue dress to school every day. Despite this, she claims to have 100 dresses and 60 pairs of shoes at home, all lined up in her closet. Peggy and Maddie, two friends, emerge as the main pranksters. Maddie identifies with Wanda to some extent because she herself did not belong to a very affluent family. But she participates in Peggy's taunting for the fear that if she opposed Peggy, she might become her next target. Peggy is shown to be a harmless girl who dislikes Wanda because she believes that Wanda is a liar in telling the girls that she had 100 dresses. The chapter ends with Wanda winning the first prize in drawing and coloring contest for which she had submitted 100 dresses, all different and very much like the ones she used to talk about. This leaves the pranksters speechless, and in their childish simplicity, they even admire and appreciate her work. This brings us to an end of this chapter, to be continued in chapter number 6. Let us now have a look at the question answers. Question number 1. Where in the classroom does Wanda sit and why? The answer: Wanda sat in the last row in a corner of the classroom where the rough boys sat, the boys who got the lowest marks and had the loudest laughter. Her shoes also carried mud just like the boys. Perhaps she sat there because she was as obscure and unpopular as them. She was withdrawn, underconfident, and not a part of the mainstream. She didn't have any friends with whom she could sit. Question number 2. Where does Wanda live? What kind of a place do you think it is? The answer: Wanda lives in Boggins Heights. It is that part of the city where poor people live. The place is filled with mud, which is why Wanda got dirt on her shoes. It might have been like a slum of the immigrants, an unplanned, underdeveloped, poor locality. Question number 3. When and why do Peggy and Maddie notice Wanda's absence? The answer: On Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie noticed Wanda's absence. They had been waiting for her outside the school to have fun with her. They kept waiting and she did not come, because of which they even got late for school. Question number 4. What do you think to have fun with her means? The answer: To have fun with her means to tease her. Wanda was sort of an outcast as she was an immigrant, so other students loved to mock at her. They teased her about her funny name, about the 100 dresses, and about the 60 pairs of shoes that she claimed to have all lined up in the closet. Question number 5. In what way was Wanda different from the other children? The answer: Wanda had a different and funny name. She was a quiet and shy girl who had no friends. She used to come alone to the school, and her poverty was evident from the fact that she always wore a faded blue dress. She was neither an American nor socially privileged. Question number 6. Did Wanda have 100 dresses? Why do you think she said what she did? The answer: As Wanda was an immigrant, it is possible that she might have led an affluent life in Poland where she had so many dresses. Right now, Wanda did not have 100 dresses. She only had them in her imagination. Her American reality was that she was poor and desired to have a closet full of 100 dresses. She said what she did in order to tell the others that she was equal to them and had as many possessions as they did. Question number 7. Why is Maddie embarrassed by the questions Peggy asks Wanda? Is she also like Wanda, or is she different? Answer. Maddie is embarrassed by Peggy's questions because she herself is poor. She wears hand-me-down dresses of Peggy and fears that one day Peggy would even make fun of her. Being poor, she also understands the trauma Wanda might be undergoing due to constant rebukes and mockery. Maddie is a poor girl and somewhat like Wanda, but she is not as poor as Wanda. Unlike Wanda, she is a Native American and has a lot of friends. Question number 8. Why didn't Maddie ask Peggy to stop teasing Wanda? What was she afraid of? The answer. Maddie did not ask Peggy to stop teasing Wanda because she feared that it could make Peggy target her as she was also poor. As Maddie wore hand-me-down clothes of Peggy, she was afraid that if they did not tease Wanda, then probably they would start teasing her. Question number 9. Who did Maddie think would win the drawing contest and why? The answer. Maddie thought that her best friend Peggy would win the drawing contest because according to everyone, she was the best artist in the room. Question number 10. Who won the drawing contest? What had the winner drawn? Answer. Wanda won the drawing contest. She had drawn 100 different dresses in dazzling colors with brilliant, lavish designs. Each one of them was deserving of the first prize. Question number 11. How is Wanda seen as different by the other girls? How do they treat her? The answer. Wanda is seen as different because of her ethnicity and background. A strange Polish name, poor appearance, and her quietness make her different. She sits in an unpopular corner of the class with the rough and noisy boys. The other girls treat her badly and belittle her. They make fun of Wanda. Question number 12. How does Wanda feel about the dresses game? Why does she say that she has 100 dresses? Answer. It is difficult to guess what Wanda feels because of the stoic face which she maintains during the dresses game. But it can be assumed that Wanda must not be feeling good at being humiliated. In fact, the little girl would be traumatized. Her reply is a way to tell the other girls that she is made of tough nerves and can withstand such stupidity. In order to put those insults and jokes away, she talks about having 100 dresses which she might have owned back in Poland. Question number 13. Why does Maddie stand by and not do anything? How is she different from Peggy? Was Peggy's friendship important to Maddie? Why? The answer. Maddie stands quietly and watches Peggy humiliate Wanda because she feels that Peggy is high and mighty. She doesn't have the courage to speak to Peggy. Her poverty gives her a complex and she fears that she could be the next target for the girls to mock at. She is different from Peggy as she doesn't make fun of Wanda. She remains silent and is even glad when she doesn't have to indulge in making fun of Wanda. She is conscious of the suffering of Wanda and wants to stop Peggy. Yes, Peggy's friendship is important to Maddie as Peggy is her closest friend. The lines which indicate this are, quote, Peggy was the most popular girl in school. She was pretty, she had many pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend. Unquote. The last question, question number 14. What does Miss Mason think of Wanda's drawings? What do the children think of them? How do you know? The answer. Miss Mason thought that Wanda's drawings were exquisite, all different and beautiful. She was mighty impressed with the fact that Wanda had submitted 100 drawings. She conveyed to the children that the judges had said that each one of her drawings deserved the first prize. The children too were awestruck. They stopped short and gasped at the dazzling colors and lavish designs. Even the boys, who had no interest in dresses, were whistling, and Peggy, who thought of herself to be the best artist, accepted that Wanda's drawings were amazing. Keep tuned in for more videos on more chapters from Class 10 English. And do not forget to like and subscribe.